Good afternoon, everybody. With this kind of crowd, I thought maybe there was a recap of the Super Bowl going on up here. But actually, this is Chandler's version of the Super Bowl, this announcement today. We are thrilled that Intel remains committed to the state of Arizona and Chandler for its high-tech semiconductor manufacturing base. Intel has been in Chandler since 1980. It is currently our largest employer with all of their Arizona operations in Chandler with 10,000 plus employees. Intel not only manufactures chips, it has a robust R&D facility in West Chandler. The announcement today is for the South Chandler campus. And among the other things, they're working on self-driving car technology that's been so important to Chandler. This particular expansion will inject billions of dollars into the local economy through jobs, construction, and Intel's vast array of suppliers. The completion of Fab 42, which this is, in 3 to 4 years, will create approximately 3,000 permanent high-wage Intel jobs for process engineers, equipment technicians, and facilities support engineers, combined with the indirect impact on businesses that will help support the factory's operation. Fab 42 is expected to create more than 10,000 long-term permanent jobs in Arizona. In addition, during the construction phase, with the significant construction that will be taking place, there'll be around 3,000 construction jobs. We see this investment by Intel as validation that Intel wants to remain in Chandler and remain in a city that is financially stable and very proactive. Chandler has a AAA bond rating from all 3 bond rating agencies. That helps when financing infrastructure to serve a plant such as this. We enjoy a stable economy in Chandler and are fiscally strong from a budget perspective. We are also a community that has continuously dedicated itself to planning and building a robust infrastructure that is able to handle a development of this magnitude. Additionally, we enjoy a strong pool of talented individuals for Intel to draw from as it will ramp up its operation. ASU is a leading supplier of college grads to Intel. Upon completion, this will be the most, and I want to reiterate, the most sophisticated manufacturing plant in the world, according to Intel. Price Road infrastructure, Price Road is where this will be located in our city, has nitrogen lines that are very unique and communications that are very unique. This further cements Chandler's reputation as the technology and innovation hub of the Southwest. This is a prime location within the state and the valley for ease of transportation logics. Even in downturn, Chandler invested in infrastructure and streets that help serve this plant. Intel in Chandler has been a tremendous corporate citizen and a tremendous partner of ours, and a strong supporter of city events and local schools. We fully, obviously, expect that to continue. I want to personally thank the CEO of Intel, Brian Krenich, for his continued faith with this new investment. I was on the phone today a couple times with Intel discussing this and some other things with them, including infrastructure to the site. And as early as next week, we look forward to more discussions with Intel as we start moving forward. I'll be glad to answer any questions on the project that I can answer. Obviously, this was kind of a fast-moving announcement today, but not a surprise to Chandler. We've known for quite some time, because Fab 42 was started and then stopped and pretty much mothballed about 4 years ago. So it's just been a matter of time till Intel made the final decision of what they wanted to do at that site. And that's the announcement they made today with the technology that they'll be manufacturing out of the Fab 42. So any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, to put this in perspective, I mean, how big a deal is it? I mean, is $7 billion in the East Valley and Chandler, I mean, this is a big deal, right?
This is a huge deal. It's a worldwide deal. As I was telling one of our council members as I was walking in, don't get used to making these announcements every week. A $7 billion deal on top of what they already invested takes this over $10 billion investment in that one facility, not counting all the other stuff they're doing. This is a huge deal. It's a worldwide deal. And unfortunately, sometimes people take for granted things like this because Intel's already here. But we compete on a global basis with their other facilities, and they picked Chandler to do this particular process.
Is there any guarantee that the jobs that are coming in with this are going to be jobs that are drawn from the local populace versus having jobs brought in from overseas?
They always understand the importance. There's always a shortage of the people they want. They do work with our local universities, and there will be, I'm sure, people hired from those universities, as was mentioned, but they'll also bring people from all over the world. Chandler's Intel plant has people working at it from all over the world. But we get our share of those people, and that's why they're such a great company.
Is this property still in a foreign trade zone?
It is. It's in a foreign exchange zone, foreign trade zone, which gives them property tax breaks. And the whole property. They own about a square mile in Chandler where that facility sits, and this is Fab 42. There's 3 other fabs that are in operation at that site now, as well as a lot of vacant ground for future expansions in Chandler.
What do you understand was the turning point? Because you mentioned that 42 was mothballed. At what point did you know that completion was going to take place?
There's been ongoing discussions with Intel about infrastructure, and you know when you have those discussions, something's on the horizon. So, we didn't make the announcement last week. They made it today, and they made it at the White House. And so we were excited about that. It confirmed where we thought we were heading, and so that was really good news for us. Yes, sir.
It's a volatile market. They just laid off 5,000 people a few years ago. Are you hesitant at all to celebrate, or do you see this as like the final, like this is the thing that showed you that they're going to carry through and stay here?
This is really good. They're committed to Chandler, and they're committed to this. And so even though, but like a lot of companies, there may have been some layoffs. They're now committing to hire 3,000 more permanent people at that site and ramping that up. To put that in perspective, there's about 10,000 permanent employees in Chandler on both campuses. So this is going to be a 30% increase based on that.
Mayor, aside from what Intel's doing, would you give any credit to President Trump in terms of his efforts to keep jobs in America and this announcement coming from Intel?
Well, any help we got or any nudge we got from the president, I will personally thank him. I know this was a significant enough project for them to want to announce it out of the Oval Office, and that's not unusual. We had the last president, President Obama, was out at Fab 42 probably 4 or 5 years ago when we first started that project. So the White House of both administrations saw that this is a really important worldwide project. So we're happy that they announced it today. We're appreciative of that, appreciative of anything the governor did also. And obviously the Chandler staff has worked a lot of effort with Intel over the years to make sure that we have a smooth relationship with them and they can supply them with what they need in terms of staffing and infrastructure and stuff like that. The state will be involved with this project. I know there's some legislation that may end up going through that could help this. There's also some legislation that passed a few years ago that we as a city were very involved with that will help them with some of their infrastructure costs. That bill's probably 3 or 4 years old. So it takes a village to keep Intel in Chandler, and we're all part of that.
I guess following the recession, things were kind of sluggish when it came to job growth and expansion. You feel like this is a big turning point for Chandler in the East Valley? I mean, this is
Yeah, that's a good point. We've all come up out of the Great Recession. It was pretty devastating. We weathered it better than most parts of the country, but this is kind of something we've seen this. The economy is slowly and methodically getting better in the valley, and we feel really good about where we're going with the economy, not just in Chandler, but the whole valley and the whole state. So this kind of is showing that we're kind of back to where we were, and we're seeing expansion from these companies. So this is a really good sign, a really, really good sign. Any other questions? Yes?
Do you have a ballpark estimate on what you guys think Intel contributes to Chandler annually as far as economic impact?
I don't, but it's a significant thing. Chandler is like I said, the innovation and technology hub of the Southwest, whether it be the General Motors Innovation Center or Google locating their driverless car program, which is called Waymo, or Microchips having their headquarters here, Rogers Corporation moving their headquarters here. All of these companies have a significant presence in Chandler, and they're committed to Chandler. But Intel is a very big partner on a lot of fronts.
Did Chandler provide any incentives to help maybe or Intel decide to stay in Chandler?
There was no incentives asked at this time on this project, so no, other than making sure we have good infrastructure, which will work with them, water and sewer and those kind of things. Yes.
Estimated completion date?
They said, I'm not directly involved with that, but I looked at their press release, and it looks like about 3 or 4 years. These are, again, we have a shell out there that cost anywhere $4 to $5 billion, and now they got a $7 billion expansion on top of that. They'll finish whatever that shell thing is, and then they'll get inside and fixturize it and equipment. You're talking about pretty sophisticated equipment, but they said 3 to 4 years to completion. So when you have a project of that magnitude, that doesn't sound too far off. Our city staff obviously will be working really close with them on the planning side to get the plans through, to get out there and get inspections done and make sure that part of it goes smooth. Intel's no stranger to large, complex construction projects, and so they're probably already gearing up their contractors. So you'll probably see activity fairly rapidly on that, and then it'll be 3 to 4 years of construction.
Thank you.
Are you asking for any specific allotment of local employees to be offered jobs or anything specifically for the residents of Chandler as far as employment opportunities go?
We have a lot of Intel people that live in Chandler right now, so this is probably good news to them to see that the company is recommitted to Chandler. In terms of new jobs, yeah, I would be very happy if Intel would hire Chandler people and Maricopa County folks to work there, and I fully think they will. But yeah, we always want to have our citizens hired, and we also want them to keep their jobs, and this is a good sign that they will. And so yeah, we'll have that. A lot of this gets down to how many engineers can be pulled out of the universities, because these are highly skilled people, and so as those universities turn out those engineering graduates, they will all have opportunities at a plant like this. Any other questions? Yeah, we're obviously really excited about this. We've been wanting to see this announcement made. It's kind of a great day for Chandler and the whole state, really. It's really good.
Do you know if Chandler had to compete with any other cities in order to secure this?
I haven't had that particular discussion. I usually have that discussion with Intel's folks. I didn't on this one. But they always tell us, whenever we're talking about the infrastructure in that plant, that we're competing globally for anything we do at this plant. I would assume that this wasn't any different. Oh, yes.
And is there a timeline of when maybe the contractors who will be helping to build this plant might be announced, or will the city be seeking bids on that?
Those will probably go through Intel, so they'll have to answer that. If there's any city-related projects, then those would go through a city process. But the Intel stuff will go through Intel, and they'll be, I'm sure, commenting about that and how people can maybe apply for construction jobs through those different subcontractors that will be working on the facility.
Mayor, one last time, can you kind of just in generalities speak about how good this is for the city of Chandler in terms of jobs and tax dollars?
Yeah, a job like this creates a lot of tax revenues, obviously, on the short term. On the long term, it brings all of these employees into Chandler. And so it's kind of falls right in line with what we're trying to do, is attract high-wage jobs in Chandler, which we have, and we continue to do so. And so this is this just kind of solidifies that, because as I mentioned, it's 3,000 permanent jobs, but then it's all their other related industries and companies that will locate in Chandler or in the proximity of Chandler. It could be Phoenix, it could be Mesa, it could be Tempe, it could be Gilbert. They'll locate because they like to be close to this facility, and that's another 7,000 permanent jobs. So it is it'll be very significant for the entire valley, this plant. And so, yeah, for Chandler, it kind of solidifies our reputation of what we're trying to do. And we as a city compete on a global basis for a lot of the projects that we get. And such as when Google, which isn't a big capital investment project, but that was a significant project. We were only the 4th city in the United States to get that driverless car program in the city. So we compete. Texas had it, Washington had it, California, and then Chandler, Arizona got that. So we compete, and we do very well. And so this, obviously, when people today over the news wires read about Chandler, Arizona, when the White House talks about Chandler, Arizona for this worldwide sophisticated plant, that does nothing but help our brand in Chandler. So the more of those announcements out of the White House, the better. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming today. Appreciate it. We're really excited, and hopefully we'll have a couple more of these over the next year or two. Thank you.
Thank you.